Hello creators. Thought I'd make a video today and talk just a bit about what mastery really looks like. Embodiment, being awake, call it embodied realization, enlightenment, whatever. We're all enlightening, and those of us who are awake go through realization after realization, upshift after upshift, expansion after expansion. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what it's like. And you know what? There is no what it's like, because it's completely unique for all of us. And I'm someone who's shared a lot about being in this presence, in this awareness of who I am, beyond the fact that I have a body and I have a mind. Knowing myself, being deeply connected to myself of and as presence, and the presence of creator consciousness, which is within everything, everywhere. And you could say knowing myself as everything and nothing beyond a body and mind. I've shared a lot that there is an underlying knowing that all is well. And when you're aware of who you are, and I will say not just from the conceptual mind, but feeling it and feeling connected to you, there's no problem that could truly be a big problem. Yet, the reason I want to make this video is that there is probably a reality to this that a lot of people maybe don't consider. Maybe they do, I don't know. But much like things that are put out on social media, or what maybe teachers, instructors, facilitators share at times, isn't always the whole spectrum. I know for myself personally, my entire life, when I was faced with the challenge, a difficulty, I'm the type of person that would go inward and resolve things within myself and then go back out into the world. And I think a lot of facilitators do that too, and a lot of folks, where we connect with ourselves, resolve what needs to be resolved, and then carry on with our lives. So, speaking of this knowing that all is well, not having any real problem that could truly be a huge earth-shattering problem, because when you're aware that you exist beyond this body, this mind, this life, this world, that you're an eternal being having just a very, very short human experience, it kind of puts everything into perspective. And again, when you feel your presence, so take a breath with me now and feel your heart, the connection to you, creator, source, God, the universe, all that is. It's always there with you and within every breath, if you, like me, like to stay connected to your breath. And that has been many times in my life my saving grace, just staying connected to the breath. So the flip side of this is, now that I've shared my perspective and viewpoint and the way I experience life, and the ease and the, I guess, sense of all is well that comes with that, is there are times that major clearings come, that the cells of my body release stuff. And I shared on our last call, our last Everyday Mastery call with our creators group, that my body had been releasing all of this rage and underneath it was a lot of fear, terror, just I'd put it into words when I was tuning in. It was like, leave me alone, just leave me alone. And if you've watched any of my YouTube videos, you might know that I have one on agoraphobia, because throughout this awakening process, there was a period where I couldn't even leave my house. besides being very energetically sensitive from opening up, also all the flooding of old emotions and memories and things. When that happens, it's like you can experience very intense anxiety. And it seems to me, through working with people and just knowing people, that most of us experience these very, very deep, intense fears, anxieties. Maybe it's depression for you, maybe it's feeling overwhelmed, frozen, paralyzed, whatever words you want to give it. But when you awaken to who you are and you say, all right, I'm ready to be done with duality, done with 3D, done with density, done with fear, I'm going to choose love, the love that I am, over fear. And it's like every fear has to come up and out of your body and your mind and your life in order to fulfill that. So maybe there's some exceptions to this, but it seems to me like everyone goes through massive moments of challenge. And just to give you a realistic example is, I'm gonna share like my weekend. It's Sunday afternoon. I just made some food this morning. All I did was go do yoga, and so I didn't put any makeup on or do my hair, just chilling at home, cooking, and I didn't have any work on Saturday and Sunday. Now, I've shared a lot recently how my life has picked up from 10 years of hardly doing anything, being more, what do some people call it, more wave than particle, being very much in a lot of silence and working out everything in my life, to being very busy. Yet this weekend I had Saturday and Sunday off and took the entire weekend off because of this emotion that's been coming up and out. Very, very strong, very intense. And of course, with all of us, there's always an opportunity to run away, to hide, to distract. I don't really feel I have that option anymore at this point because I'm so aware of it. But what is it to be living everyday life as creator, as I call it? Really, truly living your everyday human life as the facet of creator that you are. Well, for me, that is being clear on what's you and what's not. And if you're not fully clear, it's that your desire is to become clear as to what is actually you and what has been taught, believed, conditioned, bought into, repetition after repetition, where you just take it for granted that this is how you live life or this is what you do. And for me now, it's like I can't really, fall asleep to that. I don't go unconscious and think that the rage is me or this fear or this terror is, I'm not going to blame it on other people's actions or behaviors, even though sometimes people come in to our lives to trigger things and to bring it to the surface. It's where we are committed to staying clear as to what is me and what's not me. What is love and what is fear, or what is just awareness as the facet of all that is, as source, your heart, you are basically neutral, not polarized, not dualized, not dualistic, but that doesn't mean we don't see what is and the polarities, the things all around us. So for me, this last week or two has been where every moment I'm not working. And I mean, I've been working about, I'll say 30 to 40 hours a week the last couple weeks. So it's been a little bit slower than I had been. And where I come home from work, or I take the whole weekend and I've been breathing and connecting and saying, show me where this is coming from. and being dedicated to get to the root cause of the whole thing, the whole situation. And it's not like I'm sitting around in my free time with a shovel going, let's try to work on something, work on myself, find a problem with myself, because I know full well that I'm perfect and so are you. It's just we've had these experiences, we've embodied these things, and when they come right to the surface and they're knocking at your door, you can stop and resolve it, or you can avoid it. So for me, that answer is super duper clear. I stop. I call it stop, drop, and roll. You know, like you're on fire, if you've ever heard of the stop, drop, and roll. But it really is like you're on fire. Your mind, your body, things are not kosher. It's like when these emotions come up to leave, things don't feel so great. So the funny part is, it's actually very great. It's a gift. So when you get this gift of somebody triggering you, life triggering you, you feeling frazzled, out of sorts, it's a great opportunity to stop and go inward. I share, if you've worked with me, if you're watching this, you probably know my favorite ways, and I work with others to basically resolve this stuff the way I've done it. And it's like, take a breath, go inward, breathe, go into silence, ask to be shown, take your consciousness to where is this coming from, welcome your creator self, your angelic, archangelic, ascended host realms all around you. Go direct and say, I'm ready to be done with this. I am done with this. I know this is not me. Show me. And then I'll give you this example so maybe it helps you, because again, there's a lot of like fluffy talk and spirituality, light and love and blah, blah, blah. And hey, I'm guilty. I do it. I love feeling joyful, bright, free, which is how I feel most of the time. Clean, clear, not a care in the world. Yet when these waves of clearing come, they're no messing around. And then I'm like, let's get on this and go through it. And you know what? It kind of feels like sugar plums. It doesn't feel so great. It feels like wah, wah, wah. The energies are very intense, and yet I know that it's all leaving. So on one hand, it's kind of challenging. On the other hand, it's like, yes, I am so ready to be done with this. So what do? Breathe, feel, show me where this began. I sit down, go direct, show me, show me, show me. And sometimes that's every day for a week, with these big, deep-seated emotions. The emotions I've felt this last week or two are related to the core of my emotional density in this lifetime, we'll put it that way. I've shared openly on my website and the work I do because I want people to feel like I want to normalize some of this stuff. So in my teens and 20s and early 30s, I was on lots of meds, you know, antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds, bipolar meds, pain meds. I had autoimmune disorders, every physical ailment, and being tested for this and that disease, blah, blah, blah. That's been gone for 12, 13, 14 years now. I haven't been on any meds. I don't need to, but resolving this stuff and waking up to who I am really has shifted everything. The thing that I saw in 2015 now, when I had this massive Kundalini awakening, which I experienced as a near-death experience, was the answer to a lot of questions I had had my entire life, which was, I feel like maybe there was some abuse that I don't remember, or why am I so, why am I so nervous or so afraid of this, 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 this? And then I saw all these memories. They just unraveled, unspiraled, and it was a lot of, where the body was abused or mistreated, and a lot of people have that, okay? So there was this PTSD type of thing going on, which I never knew my whole life. And how many people do you suppose are, I don't know, drink too much, which I also did. And I will say too much because there were some times that I'm just very lucky to be here. Or do drugs, or maybe they're addicted to, I don't know, sex, drugs, rock and roll, violence, worrying, overworking, over-exercising, food addiction, whatever. There's all different types of ways that we've been taught to numb this out. So that's all actually kind of serves us until we're ready to look at things. And again, I just share this all to kind of normalize it. And you know, if you're scrolling social media and you're seeing people like me posting about love and light and clean and clear and how joyful and lighthearted we are, just know that that doesn't mean that we don't go through very deep clearings and very, I say, dark stuff. Anyone who is on the point in their journey that feels mainly very 24/7 connected, clean, clear, lighthearted, like themselves, that does this work, has gone through probably the pits of hell. And just because you've gone through it and you feel wonderful doesn't mean that another wave of clearing won't come along. And when it does, the beauty is the more embodied you become, the more connected you feel, the more you go through, we'll say, this time and time again of clearing and then recollecting these parts of you, the more you know, like, okay, this is what's happening. It's fine, I can go through this, and you're actually happy because you know it's just gonna leave you feeling more like yourself. So I'll go back to this clearing that I had the last week or two, and how it just kept deepening and deepening and deepening to the point that I was off Saturday and Sunday, and I've spent most of my weekend doing nothing. Most of my days after work the last couple weeks, coming home, breathing, feeling, show me, which maybe it would seem almost kind of obsessive to the average person. Luckily, I'm at a point in my life now where my kids are grown. I have all this time. So it's the perfect time for me, right? And it might seem a little bit intense, but if you're truly dedicated to clearing out all that is not you, all that's causing conflicts and turmoils in your life, then, you know, it's like, let's just get to it. And so I take it very seriously. And the cool thing was, so this thing that I was looking at, again, had to do with, I'll call it a young aspect of self, and several different points along the way that I've been seeing for years and actually working with for years. And it's not about vilifying, denying, or any of these parts, but we become more and more and more aware of them as we're in presence. I have to put that in there. Breathing, feeling, in presence, watching, aware. The more conscious you become, the more conscious you become. You become aware of the creation of all of these stories and energies and emotions. So it's like loving yourself enough, I'll put it. I love myself enough, my life enough to dedicate that time to go in and resolve this stuff. And so if that means taking a whole weekend and just doing that, that's what I do. Doesn't matter what it takes, because I'm gonna do whatever it is to bring back every part and every piece of myself that's been split off. Now, these parts that I was looking at that were like, leave me alone, go away, I would say, number one, that felt, you know, like there's something wrong with them, which we all have those. And very ashamed, very different, very, we'll say, used and abused and afraid of people, that then went from a very innocent young stage to an older, very rebellious stage of I will kick anybody's butt that gets in my way. It's actually fascinating to watch these parts and appreciate them and appreciate their creation. Like, and you kind of have to do that in order for them to integrate. Like, you really need to somewhat, on some level, understand and appreciate how they benefited you in the old energy. And like, one example is all this anger, angst, fear, panic, how it propelled me through my life to be, number one, become very good at putting up boundaries with people, saying, no, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that, or be very, very honest and direct, because of a very big dislike for lies and manipulation. To be firm, actually, this very combustible energy, which I carried in this body most of my life up until I started awakening, and it's been dissolving and dissolving. By my mid-30s, when I was taking all the meds, it was overflowing. But up till then, it gave me this fearlessness to blast through anyone or anything that stood in my way. You know, there was always a sense of, if anybody messes with me, God help them, kind of like that. So it gave me this sort of power, more of a emotional power than the true power within you, which is presence, source. It's your light beingness. But those energies served in the old paradigm. How many people in our world have knocked down old paradigms using old energy? How many, used those old skills, manipulation, power, force, to get things done in the old energy? So it's where you recognize it and you appreciate it. But once you're awake to this point, you can't be operating in the old energy anymore. You hand it over, you surrender it. It's like, all right, I see how that worked, but I'm choosing to step out of it. And you don't like work your way out of it. You don't figure your way out of it. You actually step out of it and you hand everything over to your creator self, to yourself as all that is, source, the universe, like you, how do I say this? It's almost like saying, all right, I'm gonna let go of all the fears and all the walls and the barriers, and I'm gonna release it all, because I don't need that fight energy anymore. I just know now that I know who I am, and I'm welcoming the best of the best, and I'm ready to let myself be loved rather than be living in fear and survival. And it's kind of an ultimate leap of faith, I guess. The way I've done it is I just, step by step, you let the universe start showing you, which is you, for the love of all that is, right? And then you can feel how it feels in your heart and your body. And that energy that helped me fight and just blast my way through anything, I always knew no matter what comes my way in life, I can deal with it. But that was that old fight energy. And unfortunately, what it was also doing was eating my body from the inside out, and why I had so many physical conditions and so many diseases and ailments and so much pain and pressure in the body. And once you surrender the fight and the swords and you choose love, which is honesty, transparency, being direct, then you realize, like, I don't need to fight with people in order to be strong. It's like when people work with me, talk to me, approach me, interact with me, I can be very blatantly honest. I'm still being kind. People might not like it when you're completely transparent and honest, but there is such a typical tendency here for people to lie out of fear and wanting to fit in and get along with everybody and not upset the apple cart or whatever. So the more we awaken to who we are, we just realize more and more and more that we don't need all the old fear in order to basically be true to ourselves and to live in the world. And as you drop it from your body, thank goodness, your body, mind, aura, then you're gonna be like attracting less things like that into your life anyway. So your inside reality changes, which is the most important thing, how you feel, which I call how you feel. What's the most important thing to you? For me, it's like, how do I feel right now? And if I'm not feeling good right now, I'm gonna sit down and have a look at it and resolve it here and here. So in the conscious mind, and then deeper, all the way through the subconscious, which is what I was explaining before, where I'm saying, show me where this originated. And sometimes those memories, I mean, they're deep. This is deep work. This is the work of lifetimes. This is the culmination of all lifetimes on earth, where we are waking up beyond the sleepiness and believing that we're just a body and a mind, and remembering who we are and why we came here. So that's a very realistic take on it. My intent with sharing this today is so that you, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, just know that it's all happening for you, from you as source, as creator. You are pushing it up and out, and your human self might be going, oh my gosh. And if you are experiencing right now when you hear this, or maybe you'll remember this next time when a big wave of clearing comes up for you, can you take a breath and say, okay, this is really happening for me. If I just step back, have a look at it, breathe, feel, go into presence. As much time as you spend in presence, it's like every breath in presence, the old energy is dissolving and more of you is merging down into your body. So that is that's my way of doing things. But, getting it through here involves really reframing things. What is your perspective? How are you looking at stuff? And I personally take it all to the highest level, which is I am that I am. I am source. I'm not Kathy. I'm not a female. This body is temporary. My parents aren't my parents. My siblings aren't really my siblings. I'm family, I guess. I got 8 billion family members here on the planet because we're all the same, namaste. We all come from the same source. And I came into this lifetime knowing that I was going to go through a lot of stuff and awaken. And when my time comes to leave this body, woohoo, let's see, what's our next ride going to be? So keeping that highest perspective and recognizing that everything that's been created here is all perceptual beliefs. And then the emotions that we embedded into our bodies. So when those emotions want to come up and move, yes. If you want to cry, let yourself cry. This weekend, I shed, I don't know how many countless tears. I'm pretty sure my neighbors might have heard me a couple times during the week, just when a random sob came out of my body. And, it's not glamorous. It's very messy. The more time I spend in presence, many times this week I went and sat for an hour, and then maybe I got a drink of water and sat for another hour, just breathing, drink of water. I think that was my whole day yesterday, breathing, getting a snack or whatever. And when you allow yourself to be in this presence nonstop, it's like, it just pushes everything up. You might get up, go get a drink of water, and a couple sobs come out and tears, and then you don't even need to know why. You've already seen the cause of this. You know how it's affected your life. You can see how it's affected your life positively and also not so great. And that's important. That is where you're looking at it from a neutral standpoint, like third person. Like, okay, this is what happened, and it just is. Because if you judge it as good or bad, or if you judge the players in the game, now you're identifying with your mind, your body, you're placing identities on them. Let's just stay as I am that I am, as consciousness, having an experience and being that awareness. You're not the character. You're not your story. You're not what happened to you. You're not the emotions that move through your awareness. You're not your name. You're not your body. You're not your mind. So being that aware, yet, like I've shared here today, in my perspective, the way that I would say it's been for me is there is some work. And that is when the stuff comes up right here and it's like you're feeling some kind of an emotional reaction, to stop, drop, and roll. And the irony is the work is no work, but it feels like work. You're not sitting here analyzing, drawing a diagram or something like that. But to sit with it and to stay with it takes dedication. I will call it dedication, to stay and to breathe and feel and to let all of this stuff become illuminated in the light of your awareness. So it's the end of January. I've heard a lot of people talking about the January woes, and it's been an intense couple of weeks here with a lot of this terror, rage, incredible conglomerations of emotions, shame, guilt, that I've felt leaving my body. And so, yeah, it is what it is. But I do know for a fact that if you will allow it to move, breathe, be in presence, ask yourself, creator self, take command of my mind, my body, my world. Show me what this is. I want this resolved, dissolved completely. I'm willing to do whatever. Show me what's next. Show me where this came from. Show me the truth in this. If you are committed to yourself, as I know you are because you're still here watching, take a breath and know all is well. So take another breath with me. Release anything that's been coming up for you and welcome more of you, your light, your essence, to download, to merge all the way within and through your body, your mind, your aura, and your world. All right. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.